Hey everyone, it's Byron here once again to testify for Jesus Christ. I am coming today with a dream that my son had. I'm titling it Rapture Dream, I Was Left Behind. Now, if you've listened to my channel for any length of time or gone back and seen some of the videos, you'll realize I do not believe in the pre-tribulation rapture. Uh, I cannot find it in the Bible. I have shown many scriptures to support the second coming of Jesus Christ, the resurrection, and the gathering together, or you might say caught up or catching away. But I've never once been able to find in the scriptures where there is evidence of a rapture as taught by most people. There is a first coming of Christ, and that was happened when he was born. And then there's a second coming, and that's spoken of by many prophets and many New Testament people in the Bible. You might find it under Day of the Lord. You might find it under the Day of Christ. And don't let people fool you that the Day of the Lord, although it is terrible for those who do not believe, it is not a bad day for those who believe. Peter even tells us that a day with the Lord is likened to 1,000 years. So we realize that the day of the Lord isn't a split second or a 24-hour period in time. It could be up to 1,000 years, which could represent the 1,000-year reign of Christ. I don't know how that many people got off track. They didn't get off track by reading the Bible. They did not get off track by seeking the Lord, having him show them and help them to understand things. They got off track by listening to what I would say is doctrines of devils, things like that. So having said that, I want to go into this rapture dream that my son had, because I believe that if the Jesus Christ, Jehovah, the Holy Spirit, have a second coming in which they call the day of the Lord or the day of Christ, and it's going to be a good thing for some and a horrible thing for others, the Satan's going to come along and have something similar to that, and that could be what I believe most people speak of when they speak of the rapture. And there are plenty of videos on this site that will support that. Look for white van. If you do a search, look for white vans. That'll get you into some of the place where the evil people will come to catch or rapture, take by force or violence Christians. And I have seen that in many dreams. My wife has seen that, and now my son has seen that, and now he's seen a second one. And here it is. My son, my other son, my wife, and I, 4 people were in one room. It was a living room. My son was familiar with it. I'm familiar with it, where the location is. There was a knock on the door, and my son knew it was a delivery guy. He was just coming up to make a delivery. And when I opened the door, he began to open fire on me and also my other son. My other son was wounded. The guy fired until he had used all his ammunition. And I had a revolver, a long barrel revolver, according to my son. I was trying to get it out. I couldn't pull it in time. But the delivery guy fired until he was completely out of ammunition. And then when he was out of ammunition, he left. And my son said, "Dad, you were still standing there. You were unhurt." My son had this repeat 2 to 3 more times during the dream. He saw the same scene, they expending all the ammunition they had, and I never was injured by the bullets. Now, I fully know there is a list of people out here in the world who are going to be rounded up. You can see do another search on veterans. Same thing. I got a video out there where I saw this coming when I was at a work site. But that is a violent taking by force, or you could say rapture. Since you can't find the word rapture used in the Bible, you might look in the esoteric meaning of the hidden, the twisted meaning, and realize rapture could mean something else, and it could mean the taking of Christians by force, which we know is going to happen, just reading the Bible. But anyway, in that particular dream, the people that came to take me by force or to catch me away, expended all their ammunition and weren't able to hit me, to kill me. If you look and you see Jesus was with me during the invasion, that's a dream that I had. And these dreams are not created in this household. These are sent from heaven by God. It's time for us to start understanding we could have been deceived along the way. But if we put our heads in the Bible and we read the Bible and we understand what the Bible's saying, we do the will of God, we succumb, we humble ourselves. There are promises of God for the church of Philadelphia. If you read that in Revelation, there is a promise that he will keep us from the hour of temptation. And that is going to be happening all over the world for Christians who have the Lord is going to cover. Now, he's not going to cover someone who is a acting Christian. He's going to cover someone who is truly, truly doing his will. And I don't think that you can go to a church and listen to a pastor and get all the information that you need to be truly a disciple. Jesus says, if you continue in my word, then ye are my disciple. And there's no minister going to be able to cover the whole Bible in any length of time, but you can read it. It's there. It's there. I recommend the King James. So anyway, that was a rapture dream. The use of the word rapture here is being used in an esoteric or a spin way to show you the enemy has a plan to come and take you violently by force. You can look at the War of the Worlds where they're snatching. I've got one called Raptures at Work, I think, where there's a scene from that movie where they're just snatching people up with these weird looking things. And it's all there in front of us, man. It's just literally right in front of us. So anyway, that's another rapture dream for the family where God shows his divine intervention and protection during the rapture that is going to come by order of the Antichrist. And you know, I could go on and tell you things that are in this site that are demonstrating this. Once my wife had a dream, it was a presidential order to go and get people, which is, you could use the English word rapture. It is a presidential order to go and take by force, and they're going to have fun doing it. They're going to love it, man. I mean, I've got a thing in here where I say that people were literally watching as people were being tortured and loving it. So it's going to be a happy day for them when they start doing this. So rapture, take by force, with glee. It's all there. But the Bible's not going to mislead you. The Lord, the Holy Spirit's not going to mislead you. There's plenty of denominations. I got things in here about that, man. Let's get our eyes and focus and fellowship on Jesus Christ and do those things that are mentioned in the Bible that would prove that we are definitely a disciple of Christ. And one, the example I just gave, if we continue in his word, Jesus said, if you continue in my word, then ye are my disciple. Let's not be a disciple of false teacher X and false teacher Y and false teacher M. Just because every waking hour, every day we've been alive, they've had churches around us and they've been pumping people full of false doctrines. We don't have to do that anymore. It's break away or die, to be honest with you. That's the way it is. So anyway, there you go. I'll see you next time.